Good afternoon, everybody. My name is April Hutchinson. I work at TTG magazine, and I'm delighted to be here with our latest instalment of 1 Week at a Time, which is part of our program of online events. And Monday is our catch up with Claire Moore, who is the managing director of Peak Travel Elite in Shrewsbury, and is the TTG top 50 #1 travel agency in the country from 2019. So hi Claire, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. Hello everyone.
Hi. Now I'm going to start off with some potential lockdown lifting news that might be coming our way later this week. I think we're hearing that Sunday is when we might get some news from Boris Johnson on plans to ease the lockdown or not. Let's see what happens. But separately, we've been hearing some things around how travel agencies might be able to function or might need to function differently in terms of shop setup, screens, things like that. Have you been thinking about what that means for your shop going forward?
Yeah, well, I'm sure we all have to, don't we? We're quite lucky in our shop. We've got lots and lots of space. So the social distancing issue isn't an issue for us. But I did see today a model of a Perspex screen which would sit on the desk, and it's movable, and so therefore we can clean it. Waiting to see some prices coming in on that, and it kind of goes against everything that we would want to do, but it's the balance about keeping everybody safe, isn't it? I think we'll all have to probably make some choices that we would prefer to not.
Yeah. Well, what do you think in terms of, will somebody have to be jumping up every 5 minutes to clean desks, clean doors as people are coming in? Might people not want to take a brochure perhaps if they feel it's something that, might have been held by someone else? Or is that a bit too extreme, do you think?
Well, isn't life too extreme?
Yeah.
Right now, whoever thought any of us would be sat here doing this?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm absolutely confident that there will be people that feel like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe we deal with it like in one of those a rota thing like you see in a public toilet, where actually we have to initial it every half an hour. I don't know. Let's hope that we'll all get some guidance about that, about how we can all keep one another safe.
Yeah, sure. Let's see what happens in that regard. And talking about team really now, obviously everybody's in the same situation of wondering when they might be brought back from furlough, when they needed to come back from furlough. But we were hearing last week in one of our great business support forums about from a recruiter saying she was starting to hear from people who hadn't perhaps been treated as well as they could have been. I'm not saying that's the case with your guys, obviously, but how important is it now to make sure those furloughed staff and, in fact, the people who are still in the business with you are really taken care of? And what steps are you doing to make sure that everybody's kept in touch with and in the loop, if you like?
Well, we're all in touch quite a lot still. We had lovely team drinks on Friday. Friday evening Zoom catch up, which was brilliant actually, to see everybody and to kind of chat through whatever has been going on. Although we're a team of 14, because we're so close knit, I feel that we're still quite a small team, so it is easier. And our whole company ethos is that those guys would I hope wouldn't ever hesitate to come straight to me with anything at all. I think it's inevitable that there would be some companies and individuals that would feel that hadn't been dealt with very fairly. It's really sad though, isn't it? That in the times that we're in, there's another layer of that. I think we all need to be careful that we're difficult decisions will have to be made, I don't doubt it, but there's got to be a huge duty of care, hasn't there, for us? And I'm sure in any business, travel's a people business, isn't it? So without those brilliant people, we don't really have a brilliant business. So exactly. They've got to be top of the list, haven't they?
Have you heard from them in terms of how they're on in keeping the old grey matter going? I mean, there's only so much gardening and Netflix anyone can do, isn't there? And I'm sure they're doing far more than that. But what do you get the sense of that they're up to, and or have they moved to that level of wanting to do some training or keeping themselves busy from the from the shop perspective?
Some of the team have started to do some training. Quite a diverse team though, one of our girls is training for a marathon, so that's keeping her nice and busy. Other people in the team have got families, and others are kind of gardening and Netflix, but like you say, are running out of ideas. They're all desperate to get back, and I'm desperate to have them back. It's just that financial challenge which and the social distancing challenge which stops me right now.
Yeah, of course. And I'm sure again people are trying to think about how they can figure out that future employment picture, if you like, whether that's perhaps people having to move to part-time or job shares, things like that, anything to avoid actual redundancy. Are they conversations you think people need to be thinking about now if they're running travel agencies?
Yeah, I think it's, if ever there was a time for that honest conversation, surely it needs to be now. I was chatting, when we were chatting amongst ourselves, some of the team were actually pleasantly surprised by the amount of furlough pay they'd had, because I'm not in a position to top up the 20%. So, I was just kind of saying, keep hold of that. None of us know what's around the corner, do we? As much as I would absolutely love to bring everybody back, as straight away, as soon as possible for us and for lots of other businesses, it won't necessarily be as soon as the restrictions lifted, because we need to actually have that income to pay salaries, don't we? As we combination keep saying, of all of that, job shares, reduced hours, hopefully not, but it's all on the table, I think.
And we're all learning to live more frugally, if you like, aren't we? We're realising that there's some things we don't need to spend a lot of money on, so we can keep our little pot off to the side for when we really do kind of need it, if you like. Back on to a bit more of a positive note. When we had a quick catch up towards the end of last week, you were saying that, gosh, we've been through a whole month. The whole month of April now is done and gone. But you had quite a positive end to April, didn't you, in the end, with your target?
Well, we had set a minimum target of business that we needed to rebook, and we'd set that for the end of June, and we actually hit it on the 30th of April. So that was fab to be able to share that with the team, to give us all a bit of a boost and something to look forward to. It's a longer game though, probably definitely than I was expecting. So it doesn't mean that we've done that, now I can bring everyone back. It's still what's going to happen with the long term. So more forecasting I've set myself to do tomorrow, and so more targets coming.
So that's the really important balance you've got to draw, isn't it, between cash flow, having that balance sheet situation going on, so you know exactly where you're going to be in 4 months, 5 months, 6 time, and all those different scenarios that could be kind of playing out, which I'm sure is something that you're well used to doing anyway, but it's even more sort of crucial now to make sure that we're not sort of getting hooked into quick yays. It's got to be the long run, isn't it?
It's got to be the long term as well. Absolutely. So it's everything from our our current monthly management accounts right through to, okay, so when will we get the income on these rebooks, and what does that look like?
Exactly, because even if it's great that they are rebooked, but as you say, there's not necessarily money coming into your cash flow system until later down the line.
And in lots of cases quite a lot later down the line. So generally we've been able to transfer deposit. It's a great resolution from a consumer perspective, which is what we want, but it doesn't pay any bills until I pay tour operators, of course.
Of course. And so I think the next thing obviously will be looking into August. What on earth, I mean, you must have a lot of files for August, shall we say. How have you been trying to get a bit organised around that? How you've got a bit of a little helper in the house?
Well, yes. Well, as my helper has been helping me with July, so as far as all of our July files, that was brilliant to find Holly, my little girl, who is she often helps in the agency, so she might be in doing a bit of filing, or her favourite is the shredder. I know, not to try and put a brother in it, let's hope. But yeah, all of our July departures have now been resolved, other than something that's got a UK tour operator. So it may be that it's a UK coach tour, and that coach tour operator hasn't decided will they be able to run or not.
Yeah, sure.
So we've done, from our perspective, as much as we can do until we have a further update on July. So August, we have already done some rebooks for August, which is great. But it's quite a tricky one. So I'm calling people potentially 2 weeks ahead of their 12 weeks balance due date. So of course that is well into August. And a lot of those conversations are run along the lines of, so Claire, am I going? Well, I'd actually, it is more likely, of course, for August, and we all, you know, we all hope, but actually those people want a bit of advice from me, and I don't really
have the right answer as such.
Yeah, it's a long way off, actually, isn't it? 14 weeks from now.
Yeah,
if we think back to 6 weeks ago,
if it was all jolly days, well, not all jolly days, but
absolutely.
it was a different scenario. Do you think in the future there will be talk around shortening that balance due window, to the degree that the customers have become very aware now of this cycle that we are in as a travel industry, in who gets what where down the line? Do you think people will be questioning how long, that money's up, they're held on to until the actual point of travel? I mean, I'm sure it varies.
I actually wonder whether I wonder if we'll turn into, will we have a flexible booking rate and a non-flexible booking rate? You know, somewhere, I guess, similar to what really is already out there on the online market. So, which leads to much bigger conversations with customers around T's and C's at point of sale and options. You know, it's not just which is the right airline for this, or the right hotel, or the right tour operator, or the right itinerary. It's then which terms work for you? Yeah,
it does change the complexion of the conversation to a lot, doesn't it? I mean, you were never doing an easy sell. You're not just saying, right, bang, done, off you go, sending them off into the world. There's always a lot of complexity to these things, but it will be even more detailed of conversation now in terms of the health, potential pre-advice for traveling, as you say, T's and C's, and which kind of booking would they like. So we'll all have to build in that extra time, consultation time, potentially, to talk people through.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's where we need to work with our tour operator partners, isn't it? That we're all coming together, because you know, quite honestly, around this whole the ongoing refund saga, or the ongoing communication with customers, if us as agents aren't working cohesively with tour operators, with airlines, we're sending, I mean, I fiercely believe to book through a good travel agent is the best resolution for my customers. I have to believe that, don't I?
Yeah.
But actually, if we don't get this right, and this message, this mixed up message that's coming through actually some quite respected travel industry peers, we are just giving carte blanche, sending those customers online.
Yeah. We'll lose people because
without us working cohesively together.
Yeah.
We're not the best option.
Yeah, and you need to be able to shout about what your value is, and if that value is eroded by public,
we're the backup of our partners, don't we?
Yeah,
as
exactly.
We need to back them up.
Yeah. Now, a lot of that, hopefully, that kind of backup stuff might come from within your consortium and having a louder voice. I'll just move on a little bit now to what you've been finding particularly useful from that support network, that within your consortia. What they've given to you that's been really helpful.
So we are part of the Elite Travel Group, and we have been doing a weekly kind of Zoom thing, which has been brilliant. A great opportunity just to be totally open and honest in a safe environment, help one another out where we can. The other great part of that is that we have, I guess we buy in the services of Advantage as well. So it's perfect for me that I get to have that kind of small group atmosphere, but then I'm able to have access to the larger resource that Advantage have.
Yeah, and I hear they've been doing daily updates and things, which is fantastic for people to
daily
a whole range of
whole
range of information and support. And I think there was you're obviously also an ATO agency, and there was some other positivity that came out of a session with them, wasn't there, which sounds really interesting.
Honestly, it was brilliant. So they did a whole training session on positivity.
Right.
I mean, how don't we need this at the moment?
Yeah.
And I guess in lots of respects was about changing our mindset, I suppose, from essentially from survival, where we have to, we've just got to get through the day. We've got to deal with pretty tough situations sometimes, and they keep coming, and we keep doing it, and we just that's our focus. But actually, to make the conscious decision to switch that to a competency mindset. Of course, when we're in that mindset, that's when we're our best at problem solving and all of those things. So until we switch that, we're really not as effective as we could be. But it's a difficult switch. I mean, and I have to admit right here, I found it really difficult. But I think it's important to admit that I'm definitely coming out of it. Another part of the session was a mindset graph, where we plotted our mindset scoring from 0, which is as low as it can be, to 10, and then along the bottom axis it was lockdown time, so the amount of time that we'd been on lockdown. And that was just actually how far I'd probably dipped down with feeling overwhelmed and all of that stuff, but then gradually plotting up a bit of sunshine, some homeschool wins, which don't come very easily, the rebooks coming in, feeling that we're working together with tour operators. I feel now that I'm a good 6.
You're on the up.
On some days. On the
up and the mindset graph. Very good. But just to go back to something in terms of customers, do you think that there will be some customers who perhaps you'll think, I didn't like the way that went, I'm not sure I want to be around that kind of customer in the future, and be a luxurious place to be where you could choose your customers, I know, but generally speaking, in terms of mindset and positivity, do you think that's something you might have a think about?
Well, we've already talked about some housekeeping that we'd like to do on our files before they go back into the main system.
Right. And
definitely some coding, for whatever you might decide that will be. But I mean, some people have been really terrible. So actually, do we want to court that business? To be really careful that we're not coming from a point of arrogance, because I don't mean that at all. I just mean that when we're choosing our business path and tour operators we want to work with, surely we need to be looking for our right audience as well.
Yeah, sure. And talking about that business path, I know we've talked in the past few sessions about taking care of every single penny and making sure things are costs are cut and things like that where you can. There's a new government loan today, another government situation. There's this Bounceback loan. I know you've been considering the CBILS, the previous loan. Do you think it's wise to jump into this new loan, or do you think we should kind of be avoiding it at very, very last?
Yeah, well, we didn't get very far with our CBILS just because I was waiting for our business manager to come back to us from the bank. so that I think the bounce back is definitely something that we'll be going for. I was delaying applying for it because, of course, I didn't want it for it to come. We have 12 months then to pay it back.
Yeah.
So 12 months interest free, isn't it? So I didn't want to do it too soon, but actually I'm apparently we can apply for it, but then it can be deferred to a later date. So that is also on my list for this week.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's good to hear. So it's something that you know is going to be there when you absolutely need it.
Hopefully to plug that gap for Q1 where you know I'll be desperate to have the full team back, but won't actually potentially have the level of income that I'll need to support that resource, really.
Yeah, sensible. And just a final point, we're nearly at our end of our little 20-minute chat again. Some new bookings and some other positivity coming through from that regard, right? What's been happening?
Yep. So we've had lovely new booking on American Queen. Some people have got married and they're talking to us about their wedding plans. And it just I know it's baby steps, but it definitely feels it's that period of green shoots and crossing fingers, and with all the best will in the world, let's hope that we will soon be back doing something resembling to what we all love so much.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Really hope so. Well, thanks so much, Claire, for your time as ever, and I hope some other agents out there taking some part from things that you're going through, and suppliers, hopefully, if any of those are out there, they're understanding even more about what what life is like for your average travel agent at the moment. We won't be back next Monday because TTG is running a whole week of incredible travel and tourism focused events called the TTG Digital Destinations Festival. It's not easy for someone like me to say. So we will be putting all our focus on that for next week. But before that, it's another virtual seminar on Thursday, which is going to be packed with tons and tons of stuff, legal updates, predictions, trends, all that kind of stuff. So we will see Claire in a couple of weeks, but hopefully until then, more business comes in, and take care. All right, see you soon.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye. Bye.